Right. So there's been a lot of drama.
Yes, there has been.
Like, I mean, yeah, we shouldn't comment on it. Like, I feel like that's just going to contribute to the noise. We should talk about Hex. We should talk about what's important, and keep it moving. People buying, selling, convincing people to buy, sell in other projects that doesn't really serve Hex in any kind of way. And there's way too much to talk about with Hex anyway. So, let's see. So you were having some questions recently. You've been going through some stuff. You've got, some, you've got a pretty solid understanding of it. Like, is there any place you want to start? And we can just kind of kick it off.
Start with the drama. Or do you want to talk about that, you said, or not?
No.
You don't want to. Okay.
No, we'll just leave that.
Is there any reason why, now this I don't know, the price has dropped a little bit, which is the whole market's doing a weird volatile thing right now. I didn't catch any particular reason why it would drop right now.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know. Could it be a little bit of the FUD?
Yeah.
Is it ample? I mean, are people
this right here was according to Richard Hart was the ample sell off. And then what I noticed about the chart though is we're seeing a new bottom.
Right.
When you go into when you go in Telegram and you can see the Hex the Winbot, you can see you're seeing a bunch of like little $100, little $50, little $250 purchases. Mm-hmm. And to me, those are people accumulating Hex, right? Those are people just trying to, get their stakes in order, get into position before November 20th.
Right.
And what I see now is possibly a new bottom. Like we saw this was the bottom, and this is incredible that all, like we didn't sell anywhere near here, which tells me that this is probably a bottom of staked Hex.
Right.
Right. And now if we measure from here to what could potentially be the new bottom, we'll just put it right here because that's where it is. That's a 47% increase from the old bottom. And, let's hope it consolidates and we start getting upwards momentum. But
now, I'm not good enough to talk. I know good texture, and he's, he knows his shit a little bit.
Right.
He was talking about BigPayDay.
Right.
I'm hearing a lot of theories. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know how
Throw
to
one out
wade
there.
through the water on
Throw
the
one out
theories
there.
of what's going to happen. It seems like nobody has a good grasp on it. Even the developer commented on it, but he's being very careful with what he says.
Yeah.
So I would have to listen to his comment on that a few times.
Right. I think I've walked you through the what I think is going to happen with regards to the majority of the supply. We'll do it again because when I pull up this chart right here, this is the staking chart. Mm-hmm. Here's the big payday, and look at all that Hex that's about to be liquid. Right, we're looking at for the next couple years, a decent supply of Hex is going to be liquid. Right. And I initially staked for the big payday,
right?
And then
I think most people did,
right? And then after a lot of consideration, I emergency endstaked and staked out further because that's what the code is designed to do. This is what the project is for. It's and if you're smart enough to have your stakes staked out from behind the big payday before that share price ratchets up, you're going to love that decision. you're for years and years to come. You're gonna love that you locked that share price in, and every day that goes by, this Hex contract services the next stake that is about to come due, mature. And every other one of those stakes for 10, 15 years out.
Right.
And so all at once, I'm staked out monthly for the next 15 years. All at once, every single day, all of those stakes get serviced daily.
Right.
At this share price that we've locked in. But to your point, you want to talk about like what happens on big payday.
Because I've heard good textures say that maybe there could be a bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And not saying that that bottom is going to be where we are right now, but a bottom that we may not ever get to again. I've heard that.
Yeah.
And then I heard that maybe, you know, right after people are going to be like, oh shit, and it's going to just ratchet up with more stakes.
Right. Yeah. I feel like that's it takes a deeper level of understanding to go, whoa, we need to actually emergency end stakes. We did it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to restake and rethink this.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see in the bot in Telegram, I can see people ending stakes, and then I see people building out CD ladders almost daily. But I mean, there should be more people doing it, to be honest. But what I want to say about this price here, or this what I want to say about this big payday total. This is at go.hex.com. Mm-hmm. It used to be go.hex.win, but mm-hmm. we've got .com domains now, which is so, I mean, that's so crazy.
It is.
It's amazing.
It is.
But what this ends up being, once you realize the supply is 50% of the supply, right? Okay. And that gets distributed to stakers. Mm-hmm. So 50% of the supply. That's amazing. You know, like you look at it now and you go, let's pull it up. Let's pull up hex.info. You look at it now and you go, well, only 16% of the supply of hex is staked.
Right.
Well, what's all this doing out there? You know? Well, we don't know.
Right.
You know, and there's a lot of whatever that's going on in there. But here's what we do know, right? This part of the pie right here,
mm-hmm. It's going to grow.
We add 50% to that. So 16, now we got 66% of the supply staked out. Mm-hmm. And if anyone decides to stake between now and November, which I expect them to do, I expected a bunch of people to be staking. You know, I think that probably between 20 and 25% of the hex is going to be staked between now and November, especially like right up at November. And then 50% gets shared between them. So now 70 to 75% of the total supply of hex will be given to the stakers, mm-hmm. and 25 to 30% of the supply will belong to, let's just say it's the origin address. Mm-hmm. Let's just say Richard controls that. But
which I've come more and more and more comfortable with that. Seeing what's going on and whatnot, I'm like, yeah, I feel more comfortable mm-hmm. with that big pocket being there than without it.
Right. Because it was, first of all, Richard Hart is the one who designed Hex to do this. Mm-hmm. He's like, we're gonna hold off on 50% of the supply, and then we're gonna incentivize them to do the right thing for a whole year. Mm-hmm. And whoever decides to do that, we're gonna dump 50% of the supply on their head. Right? 30% of the supply is going towards marketing. Like we got a taste of that too when we were clicking on referral links and entering into the adoption amplifier. That's a solid 30% of the supply right there. So, I mean, if you design the project to do this, and then we're starting to see advertising. I saw an advertisement in The Economist.
Yeah.
I saw wrapped taxi cabs and wrapped buses mm-hmm. in London. I mean, I'm seeing advertisement at soccer games. Mm-hmm. All kinds. So, I mean. And if you were reading between the lines, because that's the best that he can do to not severely legally hurt this project. He can hurt this project legally by making promises to everyone, right. By making forward-looking statements about the work that's being done behind the scenes for Hex. He legally cannot do that. And the whole crypto community doesn't understand a security. Right. They have really no clue about why it's bad to be a security, because the SEC gets to regulate that. Right. And all the exchanges that Americans and a lot of people in the West, because they all recognize what a security is. It's no different over in England or in Europe or anything like that. If it's a security, then it's going to be difficult to trade on exchanges. Right. So that's a problem. You know, like there's a lot of things that are labeled as securities that Americans cannot buy in cryptocurrency, and it's bad.
this Puerto Rico. I mean, side note, this Puerto Rico talk is kind of interesting.
I haven't. Yeah, I know, but I haven't even gone there. I haven't watched any of those videos. I don't plan on moving to Puerto Rico. I'm cool. I'm cool with Florida.
I mean, listen. You know what I mean? Just saying. If I were to come across like, which is not, but like $10-20 million, like convertible dollars in HEX.
Yeah.
I would probably go through the hassle.
You would be living in Puerto Rico?
I will have a place there, and I will have my main residency and all my paperwork attached to that place, so I don't have to pay any capital gains tax, 0, and then pay the little, I guess, charity fee of $10,000.
I got you.
Instead of getting that 20, potentially 30% hit. I think it's worth it at
I got you.
point, but
yeah, I might look into it.
When you start talking about 20%, real money, it's kind of like, well, if I don't have to pay anything, and I have a condo there that you know I could bail on in a year or two, and you don't have to. You have to have your residency there. You know what I mean? But I mean, Peter Schiff, I'm sure, spends most of his time over here, and some of these other guys spend probably most of their time here. But their primary residence is.
It just forces you out of the continental United States for like half the year, and I'm not with that. Like, there's a problem. I want to be here. I want to be able to be here, and I want to get a business up and running. Maybe like start investing in real estate and things like that. That's going to allow me to not have to sell HEX,
right?
Because I don't want to sell this shit. I want to be able to restake it for more interest. You know?
No, that's a good conversation point. I'm not gonna know how to phrase everything right, because right now I'm kind of in a bind personally, where I'm just kind of like, all right, it's a frenzy right now before November 19th, so I'm like in a frenzy mode. I gotta get as much as I can and get as much as I can for sure staked out, but I do want to have a pocket of it. And that pocket of it, you know what I mean, is for the, okay, I got a nice amount in my pocket to do what I need to do with,
right? But
I'm staked out for 15 years. And another point is, I understand the 5 years that most people have their stakes within that first 5 years, and then after that,
right,
you're looking real nice.
Yeah, we can pull that right back up.
I'm hearing that could change too, because a lot more people could just start staking further down the road, which will make your gains less.
They will, but they're going to do it at a higher share price, especially after November 20th. Okay, so look at this. We're looking at the first 4 years. This is the majority of stakes gone, deleted from the share pool, and not, mind you, they got that really sweet share rate, that massive share rate. So for the first 4 years, it's looking like this is our interest because we've secured this massive share rate for 5, 10, 15 years out. We get that locked in while all of this has to expire, right? And then the next bit right here is 10 years. Right. And these right here, they're going to pay. Yeah. And everything right here is going to pay, right? And then look at how little is staked out for 15 years.
So, like, right now, I'm having a personal debate. I'm like, all right, maybe I'm looking at numbers wrong for myself. Like, I'm like, all right, before the 19th of November, I want to get to a point where I have so much of it. Like, all right, I think I can invest this much to have this much HEX. Hopefully the price doesn't do something crazy in between now and then, which is possible.
Right.
But if it kind of stays within reason, under 50, under half a cent and under, I'll be able to get this much. And I'm trying to still, I'm debating with myself to think, all right, I almost want to forego the first 5 years of don't even stake within the first 5 years. Just have a pocket of HEX. You know what I mean? Yeah. And everything is staked, 5 years out and on. Yeah. You know what I mean? To 10 to 15. So that's where I'm kind of like, I'm thinking, all right, that's probably what I want to do. Just forego that first 5. But since I'm foregoing the first 5, that's why I kind of want to have some liquid. Yeah. You know what I mean? To just hold me over, since, I'll have that gap.
let's say you got a million hex, because I stake the 10-year CD ladder from year 1 to year 10. It's going to be year 2 in the contract to year 11, but it's the first 5 years in my mind are kind of like a waste, because I have a monthly CD ladder that's going to pay out that I'm just going to blast through, right? And that 10-year CD ladder is going to be everything. But the fact that those first 5 years aren't going to be nearly as productive as the second 5 years made me think that I should have started that CD ladder at year 5 and then staked out to year 15.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to pay for that, because that decision is done. That has been made.
Yeah, that's why I'm waiting, trying to get it planned out, but I know I can't wait too long, because every day you lose a little bit more of the share rate.
So if you got, like, let's say a million hex, taking 100,000 hex for year 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, that's how I play that. Okay. I would do it that way. And so, and then if you build out like a healthy 5-year CD ladder, like you can do it monthly, you can do it quarterly, then you're getting paid for those first 5 years, and you're not really worried about messing up. Oh, I sold this, I bought, like you can be a little reckless with it, because you have those that year 5 to 10 is gonna pay, they're modeling 80x on the 10 years. So that's 8 million at your year 10 point. And then the 15 from 11, 12, like all of that, it just keeps, we just keep compounding. So I imagine from year 5, that stake's going to be sweet. And then it just gets sweeter every single year.
Yeah.
Right.
I've decided to make it a little bit easier on myself and just do a yearly stake for that period on out. I mean, I'm thinking right now, man, like, I'm not worried about liquid hex right now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty much like, I'm going to take the liquid hex, I'm going to stake that again for another year and a half or so. Just let that be locked up and accumulate. And at that point, once that matures, I'm going to sit on that. I kind of want to time the whole market, because, in another year and a half, I expect the whole market to be doing some.
We don't know when this bull run's going to really kick off. Yeah.
But, it's hard. Nobody can time that bull run.
No, we can time it. We can time it in hex. If you're staked monthly or quarterly, we're timing the market. Like whenever we got some hex coming due, for this, like we spent that, but we can, we still got some new hex coming through. So, and we don't have to spend when the market's down. I love the idea of living off a credit card, and doing that kind of thing to sell the tops. Yeah. There's going to be serious sell pressure when we make these all-time highs going forward, because of how we can structure it, and we're 2 or 3 or 4 months of stakes matured, and I'm not selling at this. I don't need to. I don't need to. So let that price. Let's see what that price is going to do, and see if it pumps. And if it does, then let's go. That's when we do it. Yeah. Like.
I mean, my goal is to acquire, and I know with staking and whatnot, you have to put that into play. But I want between. Which I'll hit 10 million, but I want my ultimate goal is 20 million hex.
Right.
I think I might be able to pull that off before November 19th, maybe, but it depends on how crazy that price fluctuates.
You gonna have 20 million.
That's the goal.
Hex.
And just have that all staked out. Well, I'm thinking I want to have 5 million liquid hex and just sit on that, you know what I mean? And then just try to have like 15 million staked out from year 5 on out. That's the goal, you know what I mean? Can I get there? Depends on that price. If it goes above half a penny, all that's out the water,
the problem with having that much not staked out properly is that the potential to like FUD out and sell out.
I won't sell
when it starts to dip is pretty Like
sell.
it's tempting, man. Like
I won't sell.
it gets tempting to have that
I mean,
much.
I'm working 2 jobs now. I start with the city the 17th.
Yeah.
It's my first day, and then I'm working with Lowe's.
You want Dr. Pepper?
Oh hell yeah! I'm working with Lowe's in between as much as possible, because I mean this year is shot. You know what I mean? Like it is completely done for. But with 2 jobs, you know what I mean? Like I'm good. You know, I'm not trying to live above my means. There's no really point. I can't travel. I can't. You know what I mean? There isn't shit to do but to work.
Right.
So I mean, for me, you know what I mean? I'm like this is about, you know what I mean, securing the next few years. These next 2 to 3 years are very important. You know what I mean? Like shit happens in life. You never know when an emergency pops up. But that's why it's kind of like, you know, I'm working 2 jobs. You know, so I mean, I'm covering myself. You know, like it's gonna be 2 jobs is a lot. I mean, I'm working 7 days a week.
Okay.
At this point, you know. Unless I get burnt out, which is possible. You know,
Right.
I might have to let those go, but I have motivation to just keep pumping it through, and that's why I feel like I'll have enough of a steady income to not sell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Liz, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not worried about. I'm expecting the price to go up. I mean, if it gets worse than this, it gets worse than this. But I mean,
Yeah.
I don't expect it to just
Yeah.
get obliterated. You know?
Yeah. I wish you would have dollar cost averaged
I know I gotta work
that.
on that shit.
Me too. Me too.
But I'm not worried. Like I don't feel any type of way about that. You know
got
what I
you.
mean? Because I mean, this crypto. I've been watching this shit for 4 years. Like,
And
it
we knew
just-
better. And we
you know,
both knew
like,
better. You
you
know,
know?
like no, 10% now, and then buy another 10% tomorrow or next week or whatever, and just average your way in, because you don't know.
But I mean, I'm not about losing money. There is no selling out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Like,
got you. Oh, taking
that's
a
not
loss.
happening,
Yeah,
you know what I
we're
mean?
holding it, and we're staking it.
Yeah.
People, Bitcoin goes up, Bitcoin goes down, and what do? You just sits on your wallet while the
Right.
price just drops 80%. You're like, well, I'm staked out. I'm making interest one way or the other. And the question is that that CD ladder that I have, that 5 year, I feel like, listen, I feel better about being staked out monthly for 5 years.
Yeah.
I feel better about that, because it's like no matter what happens, it's like I am good. I don't have to sell, right? And I can hold, and you know, I got a credit card. Well, I got to sell a little bit, pay that bad boy down.
Right.
I got to go cut hair, do whatever I'm doing, and then as soon as I can start investing, then we're off to the races. Then we're using the legacy finance system to fund us and to buy land, property, assets, everything like that. And we're not selling HEX for that. We might have to sell a little bit to service that debt. Oh well. And that's how you set up real tax-free wealth anyway. To use debt to take $100,000 worth of principal, get a $900,000 loan, and take $1 million asset and put it in your pocket. You know, like that's what's up. like the bank's gonna let me put $1 million asset in my pocket and start making money off of that any way that I want. It cost me, let's say, $100,000 worth of HEX, and I just put $1 million asset in my pocket.
Right.
Huh? And that's the way to structure it for the to pay the least amount of taxes on it. It's like, oh man,
I'm getting a little itchy with that seed. Like, I'm trying to wait until I get everything staked out. I know you're not gonna like this shit, but
go ahead.
The card you made, I'm putting that and the other cards I make. I know you're gonna hate this part. I'm gonna put that in a damn, I just lost it.
Safe deposit
Safe
box?
deposit box.
Okay.
That's just one of them. And then I am thinking about getting what do you call those metal plates, and you can edge your seed in it, and getting one of those and just putting,
Yeah. Yeah.
Once I get it staked out for the most part, man, like I'm just gonna like destroy what I can of it and just have like two safeties, you know?
Right. Where, like, I don't need a safety deposit box.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I need a place where I know a hole somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, somewhere, because your name is tied to that safety deposit box.
Well, it's not mine.
You know,
my mom's.
So I'm saying now someone else has access to it.
That's true.
You know, and
that's true.
It doesn't need to be in a safety deposit box. It needs to be in some place that you know and no one else knows where it is.
True.
I've thought a lot about this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've thought a lot about how to secure these seeds, and I haven't gotten it completely sorted out yet.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it.
But I mean, there's a lot of ways to kind of keep it offline. But as far as using those seeds,
mm-hmm.
I like the idea of using an Android device, right? Not a computer, not a laptop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that MetaMask allows you to flip that Wi-Fi off, put it in airplane mode, right?
Right.
And then input that seed, and then it'll load. It doesn't need the internet to load that seed.
Right.
Right. And then those 12. We keep calling it seed, but it's just your secret words. Your 12 secret words is your seed phrase, and then from there I would close out of that program completely.
Mm-hmm.
Restart the phone and go back and then go online, and now everything's kind of been wiped off and it's a fresh restart, and then you can get online with it and start. You can end stakes on the phone, you can stake on the phone, you can do everything from an internet connected device. The only thing that sucks about it right now is there's nothing in the community, there's no website that I understand that shows you what your big payday is going to be. You can only see that through the hex go.hex.com site from your laptop. But after November, I don't care about that, right?
True. So
that's the best way to kind of stake things out. I don't recommend doing anything on your laptop. I don't recommend holding seeds on your laptop. If it's not your daily driver phone, you know, if it's a separate little, I don't care if it's $100 Android phone,
right.
Not an iPhone. I'm not going to go to that, but it's like, no. Android phone, where the only thing you have on that phone is the bare minimum crypto related things, like a MetaMask. Everything else has been completely wiped down.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a Samsung phone or an LG phone, they've got this wrap thing. That's a security risk. I feel like the Google phone is just bare bones Android.
Right.
I feel like that's even better. But yeah, this was like, they asked Richard about security on the last live stream that he did, and his answer is, well, security's hard. Now I can tell you how I do it and give away my security protocol, which I'm not doing. Right? Suffice it to say, security's hard, and you got to think about it. At the end of the day, though, a lot of progress has been made. It's like 12 words you have to secure. Keep it away from the digital world as much as possible,
right.
and keep it in the physical world, you know, and that's it. But let's see. The other thing that I want to talk about was, with this big payday, the supply of big payday isn't staked. Right. So as it rolls out, I mean, there's a decent amount of the big payday right here you could see that's going to be distributed there, that they have to end their stakes, and that supply does get realized, and then it will get restaked, and that will dilute your interest rate, okay, quite a bit, I imagine. But for these stakes out here, well, they're going to receive more of the big payday. than these stakes right here. This is a 2x. This is a 5x. Anything out here is a 5x, right? So the big pay. So well, let's say it's 30 or 40% of the supply in Hex that's not liquid and not staked. It's in purgatory. It is locked up, but it's not. But it's not staked. It's not diluting the share pool, and it's not going to, especially these 10-year stakes and 15-year stakes. It's not going to dilute the share pool anytime soon. So there's going to be like a portion of the Hex supply, let's say it's 20, 30, 40% even, that is going to keep our interest rate up higher for longer.
Right.
At the same time, these stakes are going to mature over the next 2 or 3 or 4 years, and that supply, that big payday supply, is still going to be locked up out here. That's going to be crazy for these stakes that stake before the big payday with this 95% share rate that we're getting at this point. 95 million shares per Hex staked. That's like, it's hard for people to think about how powerful that is in the abstract, to realize all these different ways that has been built into this project to maximize people who get in early, who get in first, and stake out for the long term.
Right.
These gains are going to be big, man.
Yeah.
You know, the majority of the interest is going to be realized later. The majority of the big payday is going to be realized later.
And just like seeing and hearing people talk about how some of these people just wreck themselves on the way the N6 is. I mean, I guess they just don't understand. I want to think some of the big money is just like got so much money, they're just fucking around, just seeing what'll happen and whatnot.
But this is what we're looking at right here is a direct representation of what you're talking about. This is short-sighted.
Yeah.
This is not what what Hex was designed to do. This is not set up for maximum return on investment at all. This is really, like the short-term gains driven thinking right here. Right. And
it's hard.
They're going to pay for it.
It's hard to get over that.
They're going to pay for it, and we're going to benefit for it.
Right.
That's how Hex is designed. That's how it's set up. It's like that's so beautiful. That's so amazing.
I mean, it's kind of like playing on, modern society wants instant results. It's kind of like, no, you gotta wait for gratification sometimes.
Right.
And by doing so, you get bigger rewards.
Yeah. Yeah. Bigger rewards, and it's so. So what else we got? I mean, just going through this. This is cool. You've seen this chart before, right?
I don't think so.
So this is a chart of Hex. If 100% of all the Hex was staked, all these stakes would receive a minimum of 3.69%, right? And if 95% of the Hex, and that's how likely is that? That's not going to happen. That's so the minimum your interest you're going to receive is 3.69%.
Right.
I'm thinking it might sit around 80% if we get some real serious adoption, which is, I mean, you know what it would do for that price? If 80% of the supply got locked up for any kind of like period of time, like that is an amazing result.
Right.
Which would give us a 4.6%. But at 50%, we're receiving 7.38, and this is if you're just staking out for a year. If you're staking out 4 or 5, 6 years, and only 50% of the supply's locked up, you're realizing way more than 7%.
Right.
Let me tell you, okay? If you're staked out 10, 12, 15 years, that principal that you staked is going to be like my 15-year stakes, that CD ladder is receiving 34% right now. 34%. And my 5 to 10 is at, I think, around 22, 24. And the 1 to 5 year, I think, is getting 12 or 15 or something like that. It's not bad. So, but right now, only between 10 and 15% of this, or maybe 15% of the supply is staked. And so, look, you take 550 billion hex, right? Multiply it by 3.69. We can do this on the thing for you. This is how I imagine they're going to do it, right? 550 billion times 0.0369, right? That's 20 billion hex in its first year where the whole supply is rolled out, right? It's going to mint, that's 3.69%. So it's going to mint that. So it's going to divide it by 365 days, right? And every single day, it looks like 55 million new hex is going to be created and paid to the stakers. Now, mind you that the majority of that is going to go to the stakes that are going out 5, 10, 15 years. So that amount isn't going to be realized, the majority of it, for years and years and years. Right? And where was I? So yeah, like that's pretty much what it's going to look like. That's how much interest and inflation that Hex is going to have in its first couple years daily to be paid out to service all these stakers. And then you're going to have the emergency unstakes when the price goes crazy and people are like, look, I've done the math and I'm going to get paid if I emergency end this stake. And so that's another thing to think about here. Not all these stakes are going to make it 2, 3, 4 years. They're not. They're going to end that. And when they do, when you end a big payday stake, man, I think that's going to be. I think they're going to take a big fat haircut out of that big payday. I don't know if that big payday goes to the stakers. I heard that the OA doesn't get the big payday. If you emergency end a big payday stake, the penalty of like where does that big payday penalty part go? I'm not sure if it goes to the stakers or if it just doesn't exist, but I've heard that it doesn't go to the origin address, right?
Okay.
So, I mean, so there's that.
Okay.
You know, it's like, and then like, what we can do something that Richard Hart can't do right now. We can kind of imagine what that origin address might do, right? When you look at Dash, it has a funding element that pays someone, you know, like a organization within Dash to promote Dash, right? And that concept, I've heard a lot of people talk about it over like the two years that I've been in crypto. That concept is pretty cool. Well, that same element is built into Hex, but in a way that it's kind of pseudo anonymous. Okay. We can't really talk about it. We're gonna learn about what its real intentions are soon enough, you know. But up until this point, we can't really know what it is. But like, if 50% of the penalties that people take for emergency end staking going forward go towards the origin address, that's going to finance the origin address to do whatever it needs to do perpetually, like going into the future. So, you know, we can imagine Super Bowl ads. We can imagine all kinds of marketing schemes all over the world, right? And we can imagine no forks, no Hex 2, right? You know, because they're going to get their ass sued off. So it's going to protect. It could potentially be there to protect, or there's a huge supply of Hex that the founder that spent all this time planning and thinking and developing and then completing and then auditing this 3 times to give us 50%, to give stakers 50% of the supply after big payday. Or he could just abandon this project and dump on everyone's head. Like, that's the worst fear scenario because it's locked, it's immutable. He can't go in and tinker with any of it now. There are no admin keys. It's a real DeFi project. The worst he can do is dump on us, right? So like that's the fear, and abandon the project and possibly even FUD the project. You know, if he's going to go that route. But let's put in perspective what the worst that could happen is, so people understand it. That would hurt the project.
Right.
Like if 30% of the supply, if that's what the OA is going to control, gets dumped, that's bad. Like, let's not play. Like, that's bad for the price short term. We don't know what it's going to do to the price long term. And then the origin address doesn't have the funding that it would need to protect itself, doesn't have the funding it would need to do advertising, because the founder just dumped and bailed.
Right.
Doesn't seem like if you're aiming for legacy, if you're going to do everything that Satoshi did, drop a complete project, right? Put out a white paper that revolutionized and built a brand new space like into existence through all these ideas of trustlessness, decentralized, peer-to-peer, borderless, censorship resistance. Like, all of that's baked into HEX. They're deeply baked into HEX. If you look into this project, you will see that too. Like, it's really, like, the person who built this really understands crypto. And now he could just F off like Satoshi did and never be heard of or seen from again, dump on everyone's head, or he could stay the course. You know, he could try to be leaving a legacy.
Right.
He could try to have his name remembered because he did something, built a financial crypto product that is going to last and change lives and make people's lives better and teach better behavior. You know, so they're taking a real shallow, superficial glance, the whole crypto community, and they're missing this big time. They are really missing this project.
I expect a freight train of just onboarders at some point in the future. Like, I don't know what it'll take, but I think at some point people are gonna be like, "Oh shit," you know what I mean?
There's gonna be a freak out. There's going to be an inflection point where it's like, oh, HEX is coming for Bitcoin. It's a store of value. It's like the majority or whatever massive portion of the supply is either locked up in liquidity where it's not being sold, or, and imagine that liquidity. Like, imagine that liquidity. Or it's locked up for 5, 10, 15 years. What? That's a store of value. That can't be sold. You add to that, well, we're not selling down the price to the tune of $1 million an hour like Bitcoin to secure the network. Right. There's no price pressure there, right? The price pressure comes from real people, real human beings who staked out, realizing real profits the way that it was supposed to be, in a decentralized way that is the most DeFi project in crypto right now. I challenge people to come out and throw another project that is more DeFi than this. This is the like, the people in the HEX community, they coined the hashtag true DeFi, because after this new bull run, DeFi is going to be a dirty word the same way ICO is, because all the projects that are coming out, look at Tezos. They're not real DeFi. Right. Tezos was built by bankers. They were built by bankers, right? And it's like, hey, well, we're gonna build staking into crypto. Well, what do? Well, I mean, we could just call it a trustless time deposit or a CD like the project of the bank, you know, because that's what maybe a banker might think to do. No, Tezos says we're going to bake a loaf of bread. That's what you're going to do to stake for more Tezos. You're baking it. That was designed by bankers. Come on, man. There's some fuckery afoot. Yeah, is what it is. There's a lot of fuckery afoot, and there's people going to get wrecked. They're going to get the shit wrecked out of them through these air quotes DeFi projects, and HEX is just going to keep chugging along. No hacks, no exploits. There's no points of failure. This is a decentralized product, real deal, and that's why this is the most forward-looking, radical crypto asset that I've ever seen before in my life. I don't want to sell it. I want to stake for more hex and sell as little as I can and keep building, up my principal. I'm hogging this thing.
I'm good for now.
Okay, cool.
Caffeine does a job on me, man. Or caffeine.
Nicotine? Yeah.
Oh, man.
So, like, and the transparency that's in this is incredible. This, like, I mean, we could spend a couple hours going through this website, but let me just show you about this website. Hex.vision. You go to the dashboard, and if you want to see everything to do with the adoption amplifier, it shows you the adoption amplifier. This is going to go away. All this is going to go away. This isn't even really that relevant after November. But penalties, you can see how much penalties people have paid out. You can go here, like total penalties. We've almost over $500 million in penalties.
That's crazy, isn't
right? It? Total penalties, and then we can adjust the date. How much penalties have people paid in the last 7 days? Apply to panel. 9 million. 9 million in penalties. Yo, after big payday, it's gonna get let that price start going crazy. That's gonna be so that's all, and then here are all the wallets and everything like that. You can do all this research. Go back to dashboard. Hex trading competition. I don't know anything about that. Hex staking we just watched, or we've been through that. You can see 160,000 open stakes. I'd like to get more specs on it. I mean, we can kind of get a sense, but how much of this hex right here, is staked out for. I guess we could just probably do it and see. All right. Well, there's that, and then it'll populate 15 billion hex, 36,000 open stakes. Okay, so it just does it. Perfect. So you just kind of drag and draw what portion of the chart you want to actually see, and it'll tell you how much. There's 15 billion hex locked up from 2027 all the way out to 2035. So that's not there's like 50 billion hex locked up, so that's like a third, but that third is going to receive 2/3 of the big payday, right? Because you take that 15 billion X and you multiply it by 5. That's crazy. the vast majority of that big payday is going to this portion of the graph, and you might get a 2x or whatever on your we're staking for just the big payday, and we're going to build a CD ladder out past that. Yeah, that's poor planning. Right. You don't understand the project well enough. Look closer, kind of thing. Yeah. So we understand that if only 2% is staked, like it's 350% annualized return on the 1 to 2%. Like that's never going to happen either.
Right.
But look at all the advertising.
It's crazy.
Like there's a bus.
What was that, newspaper?
Yep.
I didn't see that one.
Yep.
I didn't really see I heard about the bus. I didn't see the bus either.
Right.
He's really attacking Europe.
The Economist, bro. Like, we got The Economist.
There's a lot of hate about that shit. There's a lot of people.
Yeah. Oh, they were.
Shit.
They were butthurt about that. It's like, yo, come off
it's
it,
a scam.
man.
Why is it a scam? I don't have to explain that. Man, get the fuck out of here, man. Not even putting up a good fight.
And it's like, well, I saw one guy doing a once over through it. He's pointing out all the marketing of the Hex website, and he's like, this is just rife with marketing logo and jargon and everything, and it's so scammy and blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, it was designed that way. Like, if you paid any attention to a founder, right, who and Hart has got, I would say, well over 100 hours of him speaking up on YouTube.
Yeah.
So if you want to get to know a founder and you got 100 hours to spare, and by the way, you're going to need to watch each one of those videos more than once, because what he's talking about is going to go right over your head. And I don't care how smart you are. If you're new to crypto, you need to listen to him over and over to kind of get a sense of just how smart he is.
You do. And I think that's part of the problem for a lot of people, and that's why a lot of people are just kind of like, you know what I mean, not giving it much attention. They're not looking deep enough.
They're not.
You got to be willing to, deep dive it,
And there's also this barrier of him being disagreeable.
Right.
Yeah, he's feisty, man. Like, he's gonna talk shit. He's gonna run his mouth, right? And he's gonna be disagreeable, But Steve Jobs was at least that disagreeable, if not more disagreeable.
I mean, Elon Musk.
I've heard horror stories about Elon Musk.
Yeah.
They
All
are
these guys, they're
and he's run businesses with hundreds of people in them, and so that's where he learned to be disagreeable. Like controlling that level of chaos in order to structure something that's going to provide value so you could turn a profit.
Right.
You get disagreeable.
Right.
So they and people in crypto and people on YouTube, they see that and that's a turnoff for them. That makes them feel some kind of way. And they need to see past that. They have to look past that in order to get to what he's trying to do, which what he wants to do is teach you. He wants you to learn about, all of the things all of the pitfalls in crypto where you're going to get wrecked. He's going to teach you all about that. He'll show you how not to get wrecked in crypto, right? And I mean,
one thing I've learned, people have a hard time that you don't have to like somebody.
No.
Or, or feel like you could be friends with them to learn something from them, and a lot of people have a hard time seeing past that, for whatever reason.
Yeah. It's like a mentor or an older brother or someone who's going to, rib you for some dumb shit you said or some dumb shit you did. It's like, look, it's not because I want to beat your ass, because I love you and I'm seeing you do stupid shit.
Right.
And I'm not trying to be nice about it either. I'm trying to let you know flat out how, where, and when you fucked up.
Right.
So, they need to get past that. And when they do, they will see, this dude is trying to help people. I believe that after watching him, for at least the past year, but it's been a year and a half that I've really kind of been looking into him. So we've got advertising on the hex.com website, analyzing the hex market and trades. Yep, I've been through that a couple times. Here's the referrals. Hex might be the first coin to ever have 2 independent security audits. Yes. Even has a third audit by a mathematician on Hex's economics. Chainsecurity.com and coinfabric.com are among the top contract auditors in the world. They need their language simplified for public consumption, and some other small things. Chain security will be released later as it is more complex. Hex take a look. Hex security audit by CoinFabric. There are the audits. What the guy was saying that, I don't see a white paper, amidst all this marketing jargon. We click on the website. We want to see what the white paper is. We want to see what the roadmap is. We want to see what all the plans are and everything. And it's like, yeah. So if you don't see that, that means this is a scam. You need to look closer. Okay. There's a white paper. It's not just a white paper. It's a white paper that takes the code and line by line breaks down what it does and what it's supposed to do. And then that's audited, and you can read these audits. So you can go to tech specs, right? And nope. MetaMask, Ethereum, where are we at? Okay. Now we're cooking. There are the audits. What is this? Nope. This is it. Hex contract in layman's terms. Have fun. Seriously, you're going to be here for a hot minute going through, like, this is just, like everything that it includes, right? Intro, and then have fun, man. Like, I went through it, months ago. Like, it's complicated. I don't have this technical mind or whatever,
Right.
But it will explain everything. And then there's a wiki. There's so much being built out. Like, it's
It's so crazy. It's great.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it.
Right.
Damn.
Into that mic. Into that mic. Yeah. So what else are we talking about here? Hold on.
Why you're doing it, and I need to be able to relay this information as simple as I can. You know what I mean? Like, try to break it down, because, like I said, it's not.
It's difficult.
Like, you're at the point now where you have to understand where you can start breaking it down to people.
Right.
Me, I need to really have that over the top understanding. Then think about it and be like, all right, this is how I can break it down to smaller pieces for people, baby steps and whatnot,
Yeah.
Because, that's a problem. You need to onboard more people and not have them turn away because of the technical complexity of it.
Right. And the first thing they're gonna do, if they're going to start looking at it, the first thing they're is it's a scam. Like that's what Google's going to tell them.
Yeah,
that's what the community's going to tell them. Like, they got to get over that hurdle too.
That's the problem, because as soon as they look it up,
yeah,
and they just kind of look at very shallow level. I mean, they'll see scam somewhere on their light look, and then they're going to be turned off. And it's kind of like, look.
And now you're not in at a penny or 10 pennies. You're not in at, like, yo, you're buying it. You got to buy it at $1. Cool. But you didn't have to. Like, this is a real, like, all the Antonopolis that I've watched over the 2.5, 3 years that I've been in crypto is what prepared me to have the basic understanding to go, ooh, let me look at Hex real quick. And then once I started listening to Richard Hart, in a lot of ways, he's better than Antonopoulos. He's more raw. Like, Antonopoulos wants to keep the conversation at like 30,000 feet. And someone needs to do that, by the way. Like, Richard is going to be right here at the ground level and in the gutter, telling you exactly, what, the consequences.
Yes.
And calling people out. If you're that disagreeable and you don't give a shit, it's like, I'll call fake Satoshi out right to his face. All y'all agreeable people won't do that. You don't have the stones to do that, so I'll do it for you. Don't worry about it. And we need that too.
Well, I've been listening to a lot of Pomp lately, and his
Pomp's
channel
awesome.
is awesome, but man, he's still kind of a Bitcoin maximalist in a lot of ways.
Yep.
Man, he was kind of I was listening to something recent. I think it was recent, and he was really downing DeFi. And he was kind of like, I only own Bitcoin. You know what I mean? And I'm like, man, DeFi is about the Bitcoin is going to be in trouble. You know what I mean? And dude, you're smart and you can't see this? Like,
No.
being a maxi, bro.
Yeah, he can't. He can't see it.
Like all these great conversations you have with all these brilliant people, and it's just Bitcoin. I'm
Right.
like, all right. I was a little disappointed with that the other night. You hear him talk that way and talk down on DeFi. I'm like, dude. And there's a lot of shit going on in DeFi that's bad. I mean, don't get me wrong, but Ethereum is probably gonna flip Bitcoin. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
The
it's
momentum
common.
is there.
Mm-hmm. Is that the question is, does it happen before or Hex? Before or after Hex flips it?
I think Ethereum would be the first to
Okay.
flip it. And as Hex keeps on building steam, it's going to come out of nowhere.
So, because Hex is such a high supply coin, right? At $1, Hex has been flipped Bitcoin from where it's at right now.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So I think it's at like 30 cents or something it flips Bitcoin.
Right, somewhere around there, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. So, and what I see is Bitcoin, to be honest, in order to see the potential in Hex, you have to be in crypto for a while to see where it's going, you know, and or people who see it have to point it out to you, right? So what I see is people in the Bitcoin maxis who've been holding all this time. Now we have staking, and it's like, well, I can hold and make a gain on this thing that's going up way faster than Bitcoin. And the new people, because all the mainstream media and Pomp and everyone's just telling people, get into Bitcoin, get into Bitcoin. And all the adoption is centered around Bitcoin, while all of the innovation is happening in Ethereum.
Right.
What do you think is naturally going to happen? Well, in this space, like when I decided I was going to all in on Hex, it took me maybe 30 minutes on my phone to do the Changely thing and convert my Bitcoin to Ethereum on Changely. Paid a decent amount of money to do that too. They take a fee, but those fees, the innovation is gonna take care of that at some point. And I sold Litecoin. I sold Bitcoin Cash. I converted it all to Ethereum. Kept my Cardano. I still got a little bit of that. We'll see how that goes, you know. And just sold a whole Bitcoin and dollar cost average the first 2 months into Hex. But my point is, when you're in this space where changing in and out of these coins is so easy, you know, then it's easy to sell Bitcoin for Ethereum and then buy Hex.
Right.
It's easy to sell all of these other coins and buy a different coin. And like, make no mistake about it, people need to understand that all of these coins compete that way.
Right.
We're talking an inflection point where people start to see, oh, Ethereum just flipped Bitcoin, or this other coin just flipped Bitcoin. It's like you're gonna see a mad dash for the exits, where they're gonna sell incredible amounts of Bitcoin for these new projects, and you're gonna be left holding the bag, and you don't understand how to sell. You have no idea. You just see price going down.
Yeah.
You're losing money.
I mean, do you really think that the awareness of Uniswap is where it needs to be, or just people who've been around the block for a couple of years are only aware of Uniswap?
I mean, they don't understand it yet.
Yeah.
It's not, the vast majority of people are just holding Bitcoin, right? That's where they're at. There's like, I was told this is the new thing. It's way more technical and radical than anything I've ever messed with. I don't want to mess with it. It's all the like eyes glazing, lame, like just really like technical nonsense of finance wrapped in a big bubble of new glitchy technology.
And that's,
good luck.
That's kind of like, I mean, I'm kind of on the fence with Bitcoin now. You know, everything that I've heard from all these people who know a lot more than me, I'm like, it could still do its thing, but there's always that chance that, y'all are all, I mean, that it's had its reign, and now maybe technology's kind of caught up, and
no, I mean, I like that. I like that fixed supply. I think that $10,000 for a Bitcoin, although I'm not paying $10,000 for a Bitcoin yet, I don't got it like that. When all these other crypto assets are making these other gains outside, but I think it's here to stay. And it's got some big moves to make. There's a lot of volatility in the future, especially with the new innovation. But I will own some Bitcoin.
Okay.
You know, like, and I will own some Ethereum for sure.
Oh yeah.
At some point, but right now it's just Hex.
Yeah.
You know, for the foreseeable future, and that people need to understand that at some point, the people in crypto who have been paying attention,
Right.
who have been slowly accumulating and holding that price up, are going to have a better understanding of crypto than all the new people will.
Right.
And they are going to sell first
Right.
and into these new projects as new money comes into Bitcoin, and look, I cannot in a conversation convey to you 3 years of hobbying, slowly accruing, accumulating, piecemealing what cryptocurrency is. I can't do it in a conversation. I can't do it in a course. I can't do it in a week. You know, like it's a series of ongoing conversations and, oh, this just happened. Well, what does that mean? And learning what that means, it teaches you so much more about it by just following it. But what I see now, new money comes in, they're going to buy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
They're not messing with the other thing. And then everyone who's gaining experience in the cryptocurrency space is going to find the right projects and put their money in the right projects.
Right.
And that's going to be bad for the Bitcoin price. You know?
I mean, it's usually how it goes. Bitcoin has its big run, and then there's a massive alt season. If it falls, same trend. And I mean, Ethereum's gonna be there though, man. I mean, Ethereum's gonna pop,
Right.
big time. I mean, you know, I'm not saying 10,000, even though that, I mean, that ain't out the ballpark right now. But you know, I mean, it hit a couple $1,000, you know, and I expect a lot of stupid money to just pour into the space, man. And for Hex, I mean, it doesn't take that much. So you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And they're walking into the lion's den.
Oh yeah.
You know, they're walking into the lion's den. The think about what we've learned with our community trader in Hex recently. You know, like, we don't see things the way that people who trade for a living see things. You know, and the more that I see this go on, I'm like, the more that I realize we're in two different worlds.
Right.
You know, it is absolutely fair game to FUD the shit out of this price to get anyone who's willing to listen within earshot to dump that price down so that you can get back in and resecure your position. Fair game. And that's the terrain. That's the terrain of this landscape. Like, you cannot, like, that's just walking through the woods, and every once in a while you're going to see a bear.
Right.
or a mountain lion.
It's
like,
cause
there is no change in that terrain.
Yeah. I didn't always know it was like that either, but man, you just start paying attention, you're like, what the fuck?
So, yeah.
Everybody wants their bags pumped, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was what I guess when Richard Hart was riding out on. Oh, it's on. I mean, I'm just kind of rolling. I didn't know it was on. I guess when Richard Hart was having that debate with Good Texture, he was kind of like, "Let me just break it down to you. You know, somebody's bags has to get pumped. You know, people, you know, want their bags to get pumped so that they could dump on these other people, and that's just crypto, and that's just how it goes, and you know." And they're just sitting there like, oh,
yeah,
you know.
the profits in crypto come from someone buying high and selling low. Right. Which is, I mean, if you're just getting started in this, that's your natural instinct.
It definitely is.
Your natural, like, your first thing you want to do is get in when everyone's going, oh my God, this is going to the moon.
Yep.
You know, and there's a word for it. It's called FOMO, fear of missing out. and it's an important word to understand. It tries to point to an emotion, you know, a state of mind where you're like, damn, I could have got in 2 days ago, and the price just doubled, and better get in right now. Yeah. It's like, well, there are concepts and tools that you can understand that allow you to pace yourself and go, well, are we all in right now? Hell yeah, that's the emotion. That's where you want to go to. But the tool to be smarter about it is dollar cost averaging. And so someone who's been into trading in this space realizes, no, we're not all inning when the price is high, because that's exactly what you're not supposed to do. Right. That is rule number 1, 2, and 3. Right. You don't buy high. Okay, you can dollar cost average in high, because if the price is going to continue to trend up, you're gonna lose a little bit, right? But if the price dumps, like it's so much more likely in so many ways that the price dumps. You either have a bull run and we're going to the moon, or we're not. Right. When's the last time we saw any kind of bull run type of real serious activity in crypto since the beginning of the winter? The price is gonna fluctuate, and to dollar cost average 10-15% of what your initial investment is going to be is the way to go. And then from there you have a concept called FUD, and FUD stands for fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And that concept, man, I've been chewing on for at least 1.5 years, 2 years now, and it is fascinating to me.
It really is,
because once I start to see FUD, once I understood it, like, this is what you're generating, this emotional state of, I gotta sell, you know? And like the people, the traders in this space, they understand that emotion, and then they create it for you. For all these newbies to get wrecked, because we want you to come in with your capital at when the price is high, and then we want you to freak out and sell low. Right? And now we get all your money. That's you walking into the lion's den. And I mean, if you're gonna buy high, you gotta hold.
Well, you know? It takes practice and discipline when we're talking about FOMO to kind of, what's the right word, contain it, because I still feel some type of way at times when I'm watching something. And I'm just kind of like, oh my God, you know, like, I could have bought it here, and it's here, and it's going to keep going up, and maybe I should just get in now. But usually at that point, it's already too high. You know, you've already missed the boat, and you just got to let it ride out, you know, just be disciplined and know, all right, you know, hey,
you can capture that. You can dollar cost average.
But you can dollar cost average, you know, or just let it go, you know.
When you start to feel that FOMO, you're like, damn, I'm missing the boat. You're like, okay, well, here's 10%.
True.
Right? And then we'll see where it goes. Because the minute you get on the other side of that and you get that dip, and you buy that dip because it crashed and you didn't FOMO all in, and you're like, damn, now it's like 50-60% cheaper. Now's the time. It's like, I don't need to FOMO anymore. Right. And then now's the time where it's like, we got a significant dip. We don't need a 10% that. We could and see if it's going to dip further, if we can get a better price for it. True. But we're entering this, and to make your entrance into something, it's very important to dollar cost average in it. It's going to be the difference between you buying some twice as much as something or 3 times as much as something over if you make a smart entrance. And all these traders are doing that with HEX.
And I would say now is probably the time, since we just started this cycle, and I think that I've been following this guy on YouTube. And he makes some interesting videos. I'm gonna look up his name.
Is it Chris Dunn?
I'm not sure.
My guy.
I think his name is Benjamin.
I really like Chris Dunn, man. That dude is so solid.
Let me find his channel.
Chris Dunn's like, he's a legacy market trader. By legacy, I mean it's like Wall Street type of stuff. Like he's in the traditional markets.
No, it's not him.
And he got into while you're looking, I'm just going to talk.
Go ahead.
He got into cryptocurrency early. I think he claims to have one of the first YouTube channels to talk about crypto.
Really?
So he's been in the space for a very long time. And some of the healthiest trading advice I've ever heard comes from his channel.
Okay.
All of the healthy aspects of doing this smartly, doing this the right way, comes from watching Chris Dunn's older videos. He does more technical analysis now. I'm not really into, I have other people to tell me about like Real Vision, Raoul Powell, and everyone to break down the macro of what's going on in this pandemic situation with the everything bubble. I'll know that Chris Dunn's provided me with that level of information. But for healthy advice on trading and how to do it right and what you need to think about, that is I don't know of anybody better to recommend.
So Christopher Dunn.
Chris Dunn, yeah.
Chris Dunn. All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna look him up. The guy who I just stumbled upon a couple weeks ago. His name is Benjamin Cohen.
Okay.
And he does a lot of technical analysis. Pretty smart dude.
Right.
Chris Dunn. Subscribe to his channel. Okay.
Cohen. Is it crypto? He talks about crypto?
Yes, he does.
This guy right here?
Yes. And he hasn't been doing it too long, but he's a pretty smart dude. I can't remember what he has his PhD in, but he got PhD in something unrelated.
Yeah.
But I believe his I want to think he did something in something related to cryptography at some point in education.
Cool.
That's why, he
risk management during bubbles. Wow.
Yeah,
Ethereum
he's
risk
good.
analysis.
He's very clear.
And
I was kind of listening to his
Chain
theory on the timing of this market.
Yeah.
And he's thinking, late 2022, 23 is when you'll see big moves.
Right.
And he said it's going to be a little bit longer than a lot of people are thinking it's going to be, for this cycle. He did a video of saying basically each cycle is going out a little bit further in time, and people are trying to time it with cycle.
I thought they were getting shorter. So his
theory is it's getting a little bit longer, or it's longer this time around at least. And I paid attention to that. He could be wrong, but it was if you look at his video, he has some pretty good insight on it. I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
Because, we're looking at a cycle. Right? I see this blip, and then I see like three years or something like that go by. 3 or 4 years, and then, here's this kind of like on-ramp. And then we have this for about a year, and then this for about a year, which this is probably as low as it's going to go for the total market cap of crypto. But who knows when the legacy markets start to fail, that everything bubble crashes.
Right.
Who knows when everyone who's been into crypto for this concept of a rainy day might actually encounter one. Right. And so I just don't know what that's going to do, but we've got 2018 for the high, 2019 for the low.
Bitcoin peaked out in late 2017 or early 2018.
This chart looks almost exactly like Bitcoin's chart. This is all following Bitcoin.
Okay.
Right? But yeah, for the purposes of this conversation, 2018.
Okay.
Excuse me, early 2018. And then this, this is all, I guess, consolidation.
Right.
Right. And then this is the high of the China Ponzi. I think OneCoin or plus, I don't remember what it's called. There's a China Ponzi, and then this is the crash of March that we had, and then we see this.
Yep.
We see this coming right back up. Like we're, we were at.
So, what's your theory, or what's your feeling, your thoughts on Bitcoin manipulation? I watch a lot of The Modern Investor, and he's under the belief that smart money, the big money players, are suppressing the Bitcoin price, and they have been, so that they could, can accumulate more. Do you believe in that?
Yeah, I think he makes a bunch of good points on it.
Okay.
I like a lot of his content. I like, yeah. Richard Hart likes to point out that 40% of all Bitcoin is held in 2,000 wallets.
Right.
Now, people need to think about that.
Yes, they do.
That is centralized. I mean, you can talk smack about Hex and having some founder who controls, 30-40% of this supply. But I mean, we can go down the list of entities that are experiencing high levels of centralization as far as who controls the supply.
Right.
Right? Like, because 50%, the total supply is 100 billion, and 50% of that is in circulation, which means that the other 50%, or this is 55%, is owned by this centralized entity.
Right.
It's not a problem. If you're in
Right.
Ripple, like, hey, it is what it is, bro. Right? We can continue going down the list. I mean, that is just, that's an outrageous scam coin right there.
And going back to Ripple, as I've been doing some listening to discussions on Hex, the guys have made a good point of Ripple having a lot of overhead, a lot of employees, and that's why they've had to do some of the moves they've made to keep that up and running, which is
Hey, and I'm not mad at it. It's like we're a coin that's designed for this aim in mind, and if you think that this is a worthy aim, and you're willing to let our developers sell down the price to build this out properly, hey,
I think I heard like 300 employees.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And so the circulating supply of Cardano, 25 billion, and it looks like some kind of foundation or something is holding, 6 billion in reserves. And then we've got to ask, well, who controls the majority of the circulating supply? Because you can do a pre-mine where, actually 10 billion plus this extra 6 billion, is held by we don't know.
So let's talk about ADA for a minute.
Yeah.
Because I was big on ADA for a while. A lot of people have big bags in it.
Yep.
I had some cheap around 3 cents, and I sold all of it.
Ooh.
I felt like the project is moving too slow.
Oh yeah.
And I still.
Well, can I knock that criticism out real quick?
Sure.
Hex took 2+ years to get that code in order, and I don't think Hex is as complicated as Cardano.
Okay.
And code is hard. And man, it's got to be right when it comes out.
True.
It's got to be audited. It's got to be tested, and all that's expensive.
True.
Right. So if what they're doing is like worth its salt, it's got to be right, which means it's gonna take way longer than you ever thought it would take.
Right.
Flat out. I mean, like, code is hard, and I mean, a project like Hex, 2 years, it was 6 weeks from coming out for like the last year before its launch. Like it was just, thing after thing after thing that absolutely needed to get dealt with before it launched. So that right there isn't really a problem for me.
Okay.
Thinking, because I want good code when it does come out.
Well, I know that Charles Hodgkinson was on the road promoting Cardano for a long time.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of promises that took a long time to be fulfilled, and a lot are still unfulfilled. And I guess that was where some of the problem was. Yeah, you're right. It does take a long time to get this right, and you have to get it right.
Yeah.
Once you launch it,
right,
or you're in big trouble. The other aspect of this is Cardano really gonna catch Ethereum, or will they be competition for Ethereum?
Sure.
Knowing that Ethereum has a big head start, has a lot of development going. It has growing pains too, but it's going through these growing pains now. And so, Cardano isn't even close to.
No, and not only that, but my main thing about Ethereum versus Cardano is it's just now starting to come into focus.
Right.
For me, the vision that Vitalik had back in like 2014, 2015 for Ethereum. It's taken all that time for me to see a part of that man's vision.
Right.
Right. And here's my bet. Hoskinson is no Vitalik Buterin.
He definitely is not.
That dude is a savant for all intents and purposes. And but that doesn't mean that Cardano is, it doesn't even necessarily have to compete with Ethereum. We cannot really abstractly visualize what they're building yet, especially when it takes me 6 to 8 months to abstractly understand what Hex does.
Right.
I know that I don't know.
I mean, as of right now, it's viewed in the community as a competitor to Ethereum, meaning, they're kind of thinking they're going to go head to head with it, but
potential.
There's going to be some differences. Now, I'm not trying to say I think that this when we're talking about the price, I do think there's a lot of room to grow, and I think it will grow in the future. And if somebody has a bag of it, they're going to make money on Cardano,
right? Especially
during a big bull run. I
want to point this out too. Tron's network.
Okay.
Right? It's quote unquote competitor for Ethereum.
Right.
Tron has DLive. Have you ever used DLive?
No, I've heard of it. I've never used it.
So
I believe some of the guys on Discord Syndicate were using it, its platform, for some of their streams or whatnot.
Yep. Let me show you. So this is competing with YouTube, right?
Okay.
And it's still in its infancy, but I will tell you that it's perfect. Like as far as the level of quality that we're viewing during a live stream is high definition, perfect quality, and it I've never really seen it lag.
Okay.
Whereas Twitch, I've always lagged. It could be my connection, but I've always lagged with Twitch, and I've never lagged with DLive.
Okay.
It doesn't have near the adoption as Twitch has, but like all of these YouTubers, so I could come on, I'll put my credit card in, and I'll get like for $100 like 8,000 lemons or something like that, and then for like 300 or 400 lemons, I could subscribe to his channel for a month, or I could subscribe for 6 months, or I could do an extended thing, and it just every month it just charges me. And then when they go live, all of these people have these lemons, and they're like this guy right here. is given 14,000 lemons.
Okay.
You know, like these people are paying the Hexologist to do this stream. He's getting paid because apparently you can sell lemons. I don't know how far it goes. I'm sure that it seems like a cryptocurrency to me. I don't know if you can get on the Tron network and throw lemons around here and there, convert them to Tron, you know, convert them to whatever you want, or convert them back to dollars. But this, I'm finally starting to see the significance of this, where it's like we're no longer beholden to YouTube. This is going to be way more decentralized than Google. And, you know, Richard Hart got pulled off his live stream in the middle of his live stream by YouTube while he was explaining how to wash your hands during the pandemic. How he saw a trained nurse, how the nurse will wash their hands, and giving you all the tips to like really get in there and make sure you do a thorough job of hand washing. That's when YouTube decided to pull the live stream. Right?
You've been on a rampage lately.
Cited violent content. That was the site for what he, and then that was 2 or 3 months ago. Hasn't responded to a single claim, so that Hart can like do live stream. He's like one strike away from
being banned
from having all of his content, because Hexologist is on DLive.
Yeah.
Because they just deleted his account.
Yeah.
Hexologist is a United States military war veteran who, every single day since Hex's launch, has done a 20, 30 plus minute live stream with a growing following, and
he's a positive character.
He's really he's incredible.
Yeah.
It's astonishing.
I mean, from what I heard, don't know this, is he might have been pulled because they did some type of giveaway, and that got
Here's what I'll say. Fuck YouTube's terms of service. Fuck that bullshit. Look, this is a free speech issue.
Yeah, it is.
Right? And now, because we've got Google standing in the way of my due process,
right?
You can take 6-7 months of my labor and just delete it out of existence. And my followings and my fan, and not just labor, but like, I'm building relationships with all these people in the space who every single day at 7:30 take the time out of their day to watch what I have to say. And I'm building these relationships. YouTube's like, nope, and you got no due process because you violated our terms of service. Fuck that. That's nonsense. That is un-American fucking bullshit, and it's being used for the wrong reasons.
True.
It's being applied improperly. That lever that they built, where they can just censor people without due process, that needs to go away. That all publication of all content needs to be decentralized. Sorry. Can't take it down. Good luck, bro. Have fun with it. It lives. It exists. It's free speech. You know? So
now the free speech thing, I mean, help make me YouTube is still considered a private entity, right? And is that why they kind of get away with saying, all right, well, free speech...
The same way that the banks are a private entity.
Right.
They're an arm of the state.
Right. So it's kind of like, you know, free speech is free speech, but it's not free speech if you're on a platform that's owned.
Right. Because when a bank decides somehow, because they got the memo, that they can seize your assets, right? That's different than a police officer kicking your door down and locating your private keys or locating the cash that's in your house, right? There's a difference. Like when that officer comes in and does that, there's due process that needs to take place.
Right.
Right? When a bank sees your funds, I'm sure that there's some level of due process at some point in time, but there's a middleman. There's someone in an entity in the way between you and your due process.
Right.
And that's what it's for. That's what it's there for. You know, as a matter of fact. And like what crypto is doing is building out financial services and removing that lever.
Right.
Like, no, actually you got to do some police work and come get it, and then I get my due process. right? You can't just call up the bank and be like, hey, seize his account.
Right.
That's not how we do in due process anymore. Like that, those times that shit show's ending. So, yeah. I mean, so the Tron network is providing this service for Hex to live on and exist on and grow on. That's a synergistic effect. Like, thanks, Tron.
Yeah.
Really seriously appreciate this. This is a real solid product you got going, and I can't wait till it takes over YouTube.
Right.
I cannot wait because I hate censorship. I'm done with it. Too many of my heroes are being censored.
Yeah.
And they're
I know what you mean.
So.
Yeah, there's a lot of content creators being banned or taken off of YouTube right now. Like, it's a problem, especially in the crypto community. I'm seeing the crypto community being attacked more so than any other group that at least I pay attention to on YouTube.
Right. Hex is heavily censored.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, Chico Crypto, I believe he's gotten some warnings. They're messing with him a little bit.
And he's already on. Like the next day the day that they pulled Hexologist chat down, the next day he was live streaming on like 4 or 5 different platforms.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
And like Richard Hart there's like 50,000 followers on YouTube. All those followers now have new accounts with entities that aren't YouTube.
Now, Hexologist is on YouTube still. I'm not sure how they're kind of getting around the...
He created a new account.
Okay.
And doesn't live stream.
Okay. I was wondering if it was somebody else's account and his clips are being put up, or I wasn't sure. I didn't look into it, but...
The power of live stream is we don't really see it yet, but that's really where it's getting crazy.
Okay.
It's getting a little too out of their control for their liking, and where I see huge potential for someone to do just pass on a little update to their platform, and then all of a sudden everyone with followers or whatever can just go live, is Telegram. And when that happens, when that update comes, they're in trouble. Like they are in some trouble because Telegram it's like Twitter in the way that Richard has. Let's see. Let me pull this over. It's Twitter in the way that Richard has this chat, where the only person who can speak in this chat room is Richard.
Okay.
Right? With 6,000 subscribers. It's a group chat in this sense where where's Hex? Where 20,000 people can get the latest and greatest and then join a forum that's curated where, like spammers and everything get booted and you just get kicked out. So it's curated. It's curated the curation is automated. Like it's there's a high level of curation to keep the discussion on point about Hex. It's not about any other thing. And Hex also has Hex Bear, where you want to come in and FUD, you want to talk about some FUD that's going on, go ahead. Hex has it right here, right? The Telegram I think there's another one. There's another group chat that I'm not too sure of. It's got a good portion of it is crypto generated, but it's more of a gaming platform, and I don't mess with it. I forget what it's called. But I would say that Telegram is the hub of cryptocurrency. Okay. You want to have this, and you want to understand what this is and how it works, especially for projects, because Hex lives on Telegram and Twitter. Okay, Twitter too is a big deal for Hex, but Telegram is Twitter in the sense that anyone can create that website or that group chat, and it's just a one-way thread where it's like, if you want to hear anything that I'm saying, you can't respond to it. You can connect to me personally and email me personally. I personally sent messages to Richard about, just things that there was something I saw with the website one time. I was like, I think you could, if someone's responsible for tweaking that. And he responded right away. So I've been in contact with Richard through Telegram.
That's cool, too.
It's crazy.
That's cool.
Uh-huh.
I give him respect because, I mean, you try to get in touch with Vitalik. Good luck with that.
Yeah, you're not. And there's gonna come a point.
Happening.
There's gonna come a point where he's too busy. I'm sure. Where he's
yeah.
like, no, I can't deal with that.
But he's trying. You know what I mean? At least early on.
Yeah. And then it's also Instagram in the way that any kind of photos, no matter what, you can publish, and it's also taken a crack at video too because you could download movies on Telegram.
You told me that, yeah.
You can download, like, we ain't going there yet, but like, sure, I've done it. You can download movies, and you can put, now they just updated it from 1.5 gigs, any file you want, photo, whatever file you want. So now we're going after Google Drive. It gets loaded into the cloud, right, and it stays there. And you can sort it through. I have a personal chat where it's just nobody subscribed. It's just me and things that I'm collecting and storing, right? I've got another one for just ideas, right? So it's going after Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Google Drive. Like all they're missing is a live streaming platform with an update. And probably servers and everything to sustain that level of, well, there's 100,000 people watching Richard live stream right now.
Right.
And we got to make sure our network can support that. And then the other 50 million people that are watching these other 10,000 live streams simultaneously. It's when they come out with that, I've never heard them say that. I think that they're holding that back because that's going to set this on fire.
Yeah.
And the user interface for Telegram, the more I use it, the more I love it. The user interface for Telegram is so good because it's designed by the Mark Zuckerberg of Russia. The man, Petro Durov, real kind of quiet. I've only seen a couple interviews with him. But the story goes that he designed the Facebook of Russia.
Okay.
So like all of Eastern Europe uses, I forget what it's called.
Okay.
And old Pooty Poot wanted to didn't like some of the profile pages of some of his political opponents and asked to have them taken down. And unlike Zuckerberg, Petro Durov told old Pooty Poot to go fuck himself. Sorry, bro. No, that ain't happening.
I'm pretty sure he's not in Russia anymore.
He's not.
Okay.
He's a citizen of the world.
Right.
So and he's flush with cash.
Yeah.
And he's big
good.
into crypto.
He's good to go. Okay.
Like Telegram, the SEC put a halt on the coin that Telegram was going to roll out the day it was set to roll out.
Damn.
The SEC gotta put two and two together real quick and was like, oh, hold the phone. No. Nah. We're not. Oh, this is gonna go. Nope.
Damn.
We don't know the reasons why, but it wound up that he was hauled up in his house with Russian agents or whatever at his door telling him to come out and surrender. And in that moment, he said, I just want to call my brother and have a secure conversation with my brother right now. And he realized he couldn't do that. And that's the birth of Telegram. So Telegram lets you become extremely public in so many different ways and incredibly private in a lot of different ways too, because if we create a secret chat from my phone to yours, right, and I'm sending you documents and everything, it exists encrypted. You have to set it up right, but it exists encrypted from my phone to yours, and it lives on your phone and on my phone, right? And then if you want to just publish things publicly, the cloud is going to take all of that up.
Right.
And I can imagine that at some point it can curate it where, it's public anyway, belongs to the cloud. We host it for you. So, and you probably want other people to have access to it and to be able to search it properly too, right? And so here's all this content, all these videos, anything, 1.5 gigs. Now it's 2 gigs. They just came up with the update. Now any file that you post can be up to 2 gigs.
That's impressive.
So, and this guy has designed something that's so smooth because he's the Mark Zuckerberg of Russia. Yeah. Like, this is a real serious platform. So, I highly recommend it. I mean, it's just, it takes out, if you got an iPhone and I got an Android, well, those 2 phones devices are built by one party to not work with the other party. And that's nonsense, right? Telegram. Now we're having just as smooth, just as beautiful of an interface on our device,
right?
Conversation back and forth as you would be if you had an iPhone, So, yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
And this is the Hex. Look at all these Hex chats.
That's crazy.
Look at all this thing that's going on. This is just Hex, and we pretty much dominate cryptocurrency from what I understand on Telegram.
Cool.
Like we're doing good. When Hexologist goes live on DLive, we dominate DLive. This community is growing.
Good.
So.
Question about Hex.
Go ahead.
Explain Hex toys to me.
Okay.
I haven't gotten into that yet. I've heard it mentioned. I heard you mention it, but I don't have a grasp on it yet.
I think it's the branding and marketing arm of it.
Okay.
I don't think I'm logged into Twitter on this one. I need to get logged in so I could do that, but I think we can go to... Nope. Y'all could probably do that because Google likes to waste your time with search. Like, you might as well just start using DuckDuckGo because they are going to waste your time with spam. So that needs to go there. And Hex Toys.
Yeah, I'm going to buy a little bit. I'm going to try my hand on dollar cost averaging later and buy a little Hex at this low price.
So it looks like hex.toys, 100K giveaway. We've got a cool website. Go into the shop. Let's do...
merch.
There's merch.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get a t-shirt.
Oh, it's all in British pounds. But I imagine there's a way to do it with crypto. I haven't really looked into it myself much.
Okay.
But the Hex Space Force, because we're going to the moon. So some of their merch, I don't see any shirts or anything. I guess, we got jewelry. New products are coming soon. They're not built out yet.
That's cool, man.
What I want to show you about is Hex Girls. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't even heard of that.
Oh, man, here we go. Here we go.
This is crazy. Shop Hex Girl, I think this is it. Nope. I don't know. Nope, I don't see. Nope. No. That's not it. Huh. Oh, here we are. Hexgirls.com. No, this is we're gonna have to edit this nonsense. Let me look on mine.
my Twitter here. hexgirls.net. Here we go. So this looks like a modeling service. My speculation is this is Richard all day long.
I was thinking that.
This is Richard. Hex Girls, this is Richard all day long.
Hey, I can't blame him.
Uh-huh. Richard's been involved in some communities here that I've heard him talk about in the past. And this is Richard all day long. And so let's see, we got some models. Like this website looks like it's been improved upon since I last looked at it. Just a bunch of smoking hot vixens.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
I'm scared.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's scary right there.
And I don't really understand where this is going, but I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, they can tell me about Hex all day long.
Yes, they can.
Like, okay.
Wow.
So, and it grows.
Yeah.
You know, and where's the funding? Who's got the money to start paying models to understand what's going on with Hex and to start a modeling agency and all that?
God, this is crazy.
Hello, OA.
Oh my God. I mean, you can look at this however you want to, but the marketing behind it is smart. It's really smart, you know? It's really smart.
So, I mean,
ETH has unicorns and shit, and we got...
Yeah, we got Hex Girl. Yeah, Antonopoulos made a good point where it's like, coders are not marketers.
Right.
You know, Bitcoin, it's a bad representation of what this is. You know, like, it's not a coin in any sense of any kind of way whatsoever.
Right.
A wallet, they should call that a keychain, right? And so, like, coders, they're not marketers, and coders, they're also not economists, right? So, and they don't have business sense. They lack they lack so much, you know, of things that it's like they can tell you what its potential is, but they you need this. You need someone with the foresight to go, look, Richard has extensive experience in marketing. I mean, listen to him talk about economics of cryptocurrencies in general. Listen to him talk about the technical aspects of cryptocurrency in general. Okay? Now, that's the reward you get once you get over him being a little disagreeable. Right? You get all of this knowledge packaged in a way that is oriented towards the future of cryptocurrency when you sit down and start listening to what he's saying. And Hex Girls. Okay. Okay. I got you. Thanks, Richard. So, all right. But yeah, Hex Toys. This is growing. You know, it looks like they're pulling from the hex.vision. The hexinfo.io. That looks like this type of you know, this is similar to that. So they might be the same developers. Gift cards. Oh, yep. When are we getting our wrapped Cybertruck? I can't wait for that. We're gonna wrap Hex Cybertruck. That's gonna go. Whoa. Yo, y'all need to stake your Hex before November, I think 18th.
Listen, I mean, I'm happy with 33 cents. But looking at all this shit makes $1 look really possible. Is all I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, like $1, especially when you realize that what we're telling you to do is stake the supply away.
Right.
Like this is the. We're telling you to stake the supply away.
God.
Like that supply is dwindling.
Yes, it is.
And 50% of it is not available for consumption anytime soon after the big payday. It's going to be locked but not staked in Purgatory for the 15-year rollout of this coin. This is a 15-year rollout for all intents and purposes, right? And 50% of the supply locked away to the people who are smart enough to get in now.
Right.
And everything else you can get your hands on, if you're smart, you'll get it and you'll stake it today. You'll get it and stake it right now, because the game theory that's baked into HEX is telling you that share price is only going up. Right. And so the best time for you to stake was yesterday. Right. But today you'll have to do. So, yeah. Well, I mean, y'all are asleep at the wheel in cryptocurrency, where you're supposed to keep your eyes peeled for scams and opportunity.
Yeah.
Like that opportunity part's big because it's here. It's getting better and better and better every single day. You know, the other day, it was like 2 weeks ago, where it was like, oh, China came out and said that they're going all in on public blockchains. I don't know what that means, but hey, that's good news. That's China. Good news for Bitcoin, crypto, you know, in general. On the same day, Russia was like, well, we're going to relax our laws and allow people, because, you know, the elite in China or the elite in Russia are like, well, we need a part of it. You are keeping us out of this fortune that we're about to make, and we're going to get into cryptocurrency. So we got to relax our laws so we don't send those people to jail, and we'll let the peasants in too, kind of thing. So China and Russia, and then on the same day, it was announced that banks in the United States are allowed to custody cryptocurrency. That was one news day like a week ago.
I didn't know all those things dropped on the same day. I was like flabbergasted on the news from the banks that I just missed the other two.
China, Russia, and the United States. India, where you at?
Yeah, I heard some rumors that they're trying to. I don't know the dynamics of what's going on over there, like what party or groups are feeling what type of way. But now I'm hearing about bans again.
Sure.
I don't know if that's a real thing, but I read that earlier.
Their currency is nowhere near as strong as the dollar, and they, you know, like they're
big on gold though. You know, I mean, I don't know what the government is doing, or I don't know what their gold reserve currency is, but I know the population is big on gold. Was I listening to Pomp? Somebody was saying that, you know, there's a lot of extreme poverty there. So you'll have people begging for money on the street,
right?
But they got like $10,000-$15,000 of U.S. gold on them,
right?
And you know, that's like generations of family-owned jewelry, and they won't sell that at all.
Right.
But
there's probably sentimental value to it. They're not trying to sell it, but each band on their wrist is a bank that can be loaned, that could be that you could borrow against that. You know, like that's the power of gold, and that's been played out for centuries. Yeah. You know, like it's crazy. And they're in for with the pandemic and all this economic nonsense. Yeah. You know, but they I was talking to a friend the other day, and I was realizing, like, the world has been through worse with less. You see what I'm saying? Like, we have more resources and tools at our disposal to get to where we need to get, and avoid what we can avoid. So we're going to go through this. It's not World War II level crisis with the internet and with all these other tools, and we're incredibly well connected.
Yeah,
the whole world is. So we're gonna go. We've been through worse with less. Is what I'm saying. Like, so.
I was going to also ask you. When I was looking at Discourse Syndicate, there's a guy who was on there. I believe he's from like Hillsborough or Tampa or something. I can't remember which guy it was. I have to look at that video again, but I didn't know if you noticed that or not. There's a guy from Tampa who was on their stream.
Yeah, there was. I spoke to a guy, Randy, on the live Discourse Syndicate chat, and he said that he used to work at a hospital or something. He's a nurse, I guess, by trade, and he used to work, and he's lived in St. Pete and I guess commuted to Tampa or something like that. So that might be the guy you're talking about. He's cool. He's been a part of a bunch of different projects, and so, yeah, I've retweeted. He published an article about the HEX community. Oh, yeah? About how strong the HEX community is, and I sent that around. I retweeted that, and he's right to point that out, because we are a strong, organically from the grassroots developed community all around the world, and we're growing daily. And the RG3 and Discourse Syndicate steps up. That is an amazing personality. Yeah, he's got a radio personality. It seems like, does. And he's funny. And he just, like, the content for me is I'm wrapped up in it, you know, and he keeps people on point. But he's also, I also love it because you can talk about whatever you want, and you can say whatever you want, and it's like it's encouraged. Like, don't hold back. Kind of like, forget your filter. Come on to the Discourse Syndicate. We're a bunch of pirates. We don't give a shit. Like, let's. I love that.
It's cool.
I love that, man. That's so cool of him to do that. So,
I was gonna say something else about Discourse Syndicate. I kind of lost my train of thought. I lost it. I'll think of it in a second.
Say that again.
Their show comes on. What's the scheduling for it?
They come on throughout the week. Discourse Syndicate does. It's spotty.
Okay, no set timing yet.
Yeah, there's no real schedule, but every Friday night at 10 p.m. Anyone who wants to live stream, this is where I did my first live stream ever. Anyone, they'll post the link to enter into the live chat, and then you just wait in the lobby, and then he'll put you on, and now you're talking live on YouTube. With everyone, you're having, you know, like, and they do that. That's Friday's show every Friday night, 10 p.m. and that's the show for the community. And if you want to get on live and test it out and see what's going on, that's what it's for. It's really cool.
It is.
Do
you know his name?
You're talking about that video where he's the legacy tech guy, and he's doing an interview with Pompliano. Came out a couple days ago.
Yes.
And he talks about how he had to go to the Tesla.
Yes.
He had to go to the Tesla warehouse to see it. Yeah.
He kind of bothered me at like the first 15 minutes. I'm kind of like, you know, who is this guy? Like, where is he coming from? You know, like, oh, I'm come from a lower middle class family. Then he starts kind of popping it out. I'm like, no, dude, I kind of disagree with you. You know what I mean? That's kind of above lower middle class where he came from, but cool, whatever. And as he kept going, I was kind of like, all right, I'm more into it now.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have a better picture of who he is, and I didn't mind it very much. You know, it's interesting these people who like, he's a shareholder of Tesla. Daniela, I think that's her name.
Okay.
She is not, but when Pat brought up Tesla, she's kind of like, wouldn't want to be a shareholder of his, you know? They do not care for him, man, and
They're
I love
sleeping
it.
on it. Yeah.
I love it. You know what I mean? Because they want this is about control, and that's one reason I think he kind of acts out. You know,
It's about control, but it's also about their lack of vision.
true,
They don't have any real vision of where this is going.
right?
I gotta say to people, I gotta remind the people that Amazon took over Walmart, which has been dominating retail for our whole lives.
Yes, it is.
And they took out Walmart and retail with a website. Netflix
they
took
did.
out Blockbuster with a website,
Yep.
right? Tesla's doing a lot of its sales online.
Well, hold on. Didn't Netflix start with something like Redbox and a website, and then eventually they got rid of.
But that live streaming was just like but Blockbuster they didn't have the vision to see where this was going.
It's like Kodak.
Yeah.
Another example.
You know,
they didn't have vision.
Who else is doing? Oh, YouTube. YouTube's taken down mainstream media with a website.
Right.
You know, I've long since cut the cord, right? And I don't have Netflix or anything like that. I don't need any of that. The vast majority of the content that I'm consuming is on YouTube, and there is so much there. You know, it's all like finance driven now, because I can watch a 2 or 3 hour video of someone who's talking about markets and things like that, and it's just on in the background.
Right.
You know, this whole apartment's wired for sound, and it's just on. And now I have the ability to understand what they're saying. And these are the cream of the crop coming out of legacy finance, and they're interested in crypto, and they see where it's going.
Right.
And to hear that guy on Pompliano's thing, I want to pull it up. I want to at least reference what I'm talking about. But, yeah, to hear that guy pretty much confirm what we know is they just don't see where it's going. I'd say the vast majority of the legacy finance, to include all of Wall Street and everything like that, they might think that Bitcoin's all the rage. Some of them. The vast majority of them outright reject it. Nope, that's not real money. That's not a thing. Head in the sand. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. Right?
His name is Ross Gerber, co-founder of Kawasaki Wealth and Investment Management. Interesting name, Kawasaki Wealth and Investment Management.
Ross Gerber. This guy right here.
Yeah.
Hurricane Harvey proved
Oh.
us that flooding can happen anywhere at
I
any
think
time.
he did too. Is he
Which makes
behind or who are
All right, guys, bang.
are part of the Tesla team that I need to look up?
Yeah,
He kinda-
that one dude.
I know. I felt a little some type of way about the way he brought it up, trying to say that I kind of felt like maybe he didn't mean it that way, but discrediting Elon a little bit and trying to say that no, this guy is who's behind the scenes making the big moves,
Right.
you know, and you know sometimes that is the case. Elon Musk is the face, and maybe he gets all the credit, but these people are really pushing. Like the lead designer, I know him. I can't think of his name for
all
Tesla, but he's always right next to Elon Musk. But this other dude, I need to look him up because I've never heard of him, and I want to see what he's all about. This kind of verified what the guy was talking about as him being
He's a super genius because Elon has an eye for talent.
Yeah.
And of course he's going to have someone who's brilliant, who he can rely on. And when that dude talked about going into that Tesla factory and seeing all that automated everything, and he came back and he said, all y'all are sleeping.
Well, here's the thing.
Do not short
I was
Tesla.
talking to somebody. I'm like, that's you know how we always talk about the fourth industrial revolution. I mean, what other company can you think of right now that's kind of like the embodiment of that movement? I can only think of Tesla. I'm sure there's some more out there.
Amazon. Yep. You gotta think about their cloud-based computing which is going to streamline and plug all these companies into data.
Well, I'm talking about just the physical dynamics of industrial warehouses.
Sure.
Okay. The robotics.
Okay.
Amazon does have a sophisticated warehouses, but Tesla, it's kind of like, holy shit, you know what I mean? And I mean, maybe I'm thinking about this wrong, but when we start talking about fourth industrial revolution, that seems like the step. And I can't think of another company besides like the Amazon that has that kind of implemented.
Yeah.
And they're pushing forward with it.
Right. And the fourth, like the main criteria of the fourth industrial revolution is the way that we move economic activity. There's three pillars, really. I'm gonna try to remember them. It's been a minute, but like it's converting from oil to electricity.
Okay.
Right. That if he was saying that there was a Jeremy Rifkin, I think was his name.
Okay.
Was saying that if you're plugged into this third world model, you can have a million Steve Jobs and it won't make a damn bit of difference.
Right.
Right. He's saying that in order to, and he talked a lot about aggregate efficiency, and they could only account for 20% of the economic whatever, but when they factored in aggregate efficiency, they saw what they were missing in their models. They couldn't account for like 80% of the waste or whatever.
Okay.
But oil, the internet, telecommunications, data, all of that. That's why you hear people saying data is the new oil, kind of thing. And so the way that we process, manage, and move economic activity, that's the fourth industrial revolution.
Okay.
And that's what China's well on its way to building it out, right? And the United States, our infrastructure, like whenever we get around to it, to rebuilding all these factories and everything like that, it is the fourth industrial revolution build out.
So when you talk about China versus the U.S., all right, yeah, China is making a lot of waves, but they have a lot of mass, all right? And I think that, maybe I'm thinking about this wrong, but wouldn't it be easier for the U.S. to transition as a country, you know what I mean, faster than China? Might have pockets here, pockets there.
No, they're more centralized, which means that they can act with incredible efficiency, right?
Okay.
There's no business that we've got to bid and everything. No, the state's going to come in and build that bridge. I saw them build a whole bridge in like 72 hours or some shit like that. Like a whole overpass, 72 hours.
Well, they got the bridge built, but
no, it's built.
But I mean, the quality, the engineering behind it, you know, it seems like that lacks a little bit.
Well, I mean, I'm betting that bridge is there. It's
built. But it's just kind of like, will it last? Yeah, it's the engineering sound.
Because they have like when you're innovating, like all the innovations of construction like that, like they're hip to it too, you know, and they're probably, you know, new innovations in that space as well, and new efficiencies. Like they're real industrious people, and they're hardworking. And when it's just we use markets to do this stuff. You know, we want to promote business growth in our country. We don't want the government to come in and build everything. Right. And so that's where they're taking an advantage and leveraging it.
Yeah.
By, I mean, really, it's like, oh, we believe in capitalism. Well, we're going to participate in capitalist markets as we subvert it, knock out the competition, pull the supply line over to China, and so that we control the manufacturing of all of it. And that's what the whole world's waking up to right now. And they're, you know, like countries need to, you know, that's why I like Bannon's idea of economic nationalism. It's like the United States is saying, hey, secure your borders and take what your people do well and develop it and have your own industry in your own country and and thrive. That's what the United States is pushing out to the world. China comes over and says, well, wait a minute, your borders don't really matter. You know, we don't need you to focus on that. Let us come in and build it for you and charge you for it. And our people are going to come and do it, not your people. So you don't learn how to do it. Your people don't get the jobs. And then we're going to take a cut of that. And these countries have a very simple decision to make. Pull your supply lines back into your country and take care of your people.
Right.
And strengthen your people. You know, or let China come in and see what they do.
There's an interesting article, and I haven't dove deep into it. It might be some bullshit mixed in here, but the Model 3 here, they're saying that Tesla is having some quality control issues, which, you know what I mean? Okay, right. You know, a lot of manufacturers do when it comes to cars and whatnot, you know. So there, you know, I think the Model 3 got a mediocre ranking. All right.
Right.
Now, they did a quality control test in China, or whatever the test is called, and the Model 3 is kind of like the best that they have right now when they did their test on it, and that was just kind of interesting. I was like, all right, so is America just kind of throwing shade at Tesla,
yeah.
Or you know what I mean? Is the Model 3 really that good? You know, I haven't really gotten into it to kind of see where they were trying to go with that.
That's what it seems like to me.
You know,
I feel like there's no reason that the Model S should be less safe than their next generation car, because they've already, like, when the Model S is the safest car ever built, you know, blows Volvo out of the water. They cannot flip this car. They cannot. Like, it is the safest car ever built. Like,
I think when they're talking about quality control, I think it's little pesky stuff.
Sure.
Oh, the paint is, you know, got a defect, or oh, their door handle's not working right. You know, because by far Teslas are pretty much the safest vehicles on the road.
I mean, I'd wager to say that rating agency has been the bread and butter of the American automotive ecosystem for a long time.
Yeah. And
which side are you on, bro?
Right.
You know, like who you know, and they're playing that game. We see that happen in crypto all the time. And these are newer. These are companies that are, you know, 5-6 years old, gatekeeping and doing censorship, and I mean they're really a parasite. Yeah. We see what centralized entities do. It's like you go on these exchanges and you trade, and the fees that you're paying to the exchanges are going to buy advertising. You're going to buy, like, bloggers get paid, and people to create and turn out content, all that. And this is they're the ones with the money. Yeah. So, and it's not beneficial for these people to do a superficial glance of a real serious, complete, 3 times audited product and come to the conclusion that it's a scam. You know, like, that's not beneficial to anyone in the crypto space. Right. Y'all are the scammers. y'all are the rent-seeking people that can't seem to find any value whatsoever in a project that has done nothing but grow since its inception. It's done nothing but, like, I was tweeting at the Crypto Lark dude a couple nights ago, and he's just like, nah, I don't wanna, that's not my cup of tea, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yo, bro, like, why don't you take a minute and understand what's going on? Nah, not my cup of tea. I'm like, all right, dude, that's cool, you know, like, we're coming one way or the other,
right? You
know, like, advertising, the whole nine. We're not going away because it's locked and immutable on the blockchain. That's done. So, like, but they can't. As I tried to explain to them, like, that decision's already been made for you, bro. Because all your peers and everybody that you associate with, once you start talking about HEX, there was the Laura Halprin. She posted a tweet a while ago when there was the nerd girl on Twitter who did the interview with Richard Hart. She said, get ready to be attacked. Because when I talked to Richard Hart, I was attacked by everyone in the space. why are you promoting a scammer? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Attacked. It's like, that's what you're afraid of. You're afraid of speaking up and saying, no, look here. Like, there's something different about this project.
Right.
And she found out the hard way. She doesn't mention Hex. She never talks about Hex, right? And so, Laura Harper from Altcoin Buzz. Mm-hmm. They put the one thing out, and that's the only thing I've heard. It's been, a wall of silence for all of crypto. And
what's the name of that channel? It just got taken down. Crypto Daily.
Mm-hmm.
They mentioned Hex months ago.
Oh yeah.
And they didn't have anything good to say.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to point at the origin address and talk about recycling and all that. And a lot of people in their chat was like, "Hey, why don't you have a one-on-one with Richard Hart?" "Oh no, that's not our thing. You know, we don't really do that." And
Right.
I'm like, "Really?
Mm-hmm.
All right. If you're gonna have the balls to put the project on blast, have the balls to
Yeah. They won't do it. They won't do it.
No, they won't.
I mean, and that's another thing that the Crypto Lark has to take into consideration. It's like, when is your channel getting pulled, bro?
Right.
Like, when do you come down? When do you cross the YouTube terms of agreement line?
Because Chico, I'm expecting that he's gonna get yanked eventually. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, he's ruffling way too many feathers. Well, that dude's coming out swinging all the time.
I mean, he's banned on Twitter. You know, like.
But I was just trying to point out, like, actually, if you did decide, hey, I need to talk about this project just for the sake of it, now you start to consider, well, I'm going to be ostracized, and my YouTube channel might get banned,
Right.
and my subscriptions, or however I'm affiliated, however I'm getting paid by this, that's up for jeopardy, and it's not worth it to talk about a project that everyone calls a scam. And if it is a scam, then I'm hurting people anyway,
Do you know about Ivan on Tech?
Yeah.
I don't know about him very much, but I think he has something positive to say about Hex. Didn't he say something briefly?
He's done a couple pieces, and he's into. I think he does code. I think he knows about code quite a bit.
Okay.
And he can teach people about that. And so, and he does a lot of reviews about, this or that coin, from what I understand. But he's been real hesitant. Like, he's spoken to Richard. He's done interviews with Richard about Hex.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
How many followers does he have? Do you know?
I think he's up there. He's prominent in the space.
Okay.
I don't really...
I've never really followed him.
Yeah, I've tried listening to him a couple times, and I'm just like, I don't...
Yeah.
He's not on my wavelength. Seems
Right.
like it's
Yeah.
just... But yeah, this video right here was just complete... It completely confirmed the... I don't... It's a bias, but it's really like... It's what all of legacy finance is going to suffer through as they miss out on, as they miss the boat, right? And the vast majority of them are going to say no to Bitcoin until they do get into Bitcoin. And then when they get into Bitcoin, they got to realize, like, look, we might want to just jump straight into DeFi. We might want to just jump straight into what Ethereum's doing and maybe hedge a little bit in Bitcoin, because that's not going away either. And just see how it plays out, because they don't have any sense of a macro. If they did, they would be in Bitcoin tomorrow. They would be in crypto and DeFi tomorrow. And this guy he's stuck fighting this old school of thought about lessons that should have been learned like 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6, 7, 8 years ago.
Right.
And they still haven't gotten that picture. I have to tell them, like, with a website, Amazon is taking out retail and Walmart. Yeah. Like, y'all, like, what? How is it? I hear stories about how they go, oh, well, Amazon wasn't attractive to me because they weren't turning a profit for all this time. Like, they just, the company can't seem to turn a profit. Yeah, because all their extra revenue went back into R&D because they were innovating relentlessly. Yeah. And it was funny when Musk said on a quarterly call one time, he's like, look, the outcome was obvious for Amazon a long time ago. When I see you innovating relentlessly compared to what Walmart's doing, it was obvious that he was going to take over Walmart a long time ago, bro. That's insightful, and that man has an absolute, like a way higher macro perspective than anyone in legacy finance thinks that he does. And that's what this interview did. It's shown a light. Like, y'all are sleeping.
Yeah.
Y'all are missing this boat. You are missing this revolution. There's dozens and dozens of revolutions raging on simultaneously right now, and y'all are missing all of it because you have your head in the sand, because of old thinking that no longer matters. So you want to know what money is? The constraints of money, the rules of money, right in the middle of this Monopoly game, have been changed in the middle of the game of Monopoly. Like, money is no longer this tangible thing, and it's borderless, and you have less and less control over it. That's money now. So go back to Harvard, go back through Wharton real quick with an updated curriculum and get your shit straight, because you are missing this. So,
Bang. I've got Ross here, super excited about this. You may win the award for the most number of questions I've had to send in. So, welcome.
all right, that's it. We're going to wrap it up. And thank everyone for watching. And I think we're just going to do a rough send on it. No editing or anything like that until we get a little bit more editing under control. But there should be some more of these. We might break it up. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We're going to roll with it. But thank you guys for listening. And I'll see you again soon.
Until the next time.
Yeah.